everyone. Yeah, we're doing Dinobot. Not the Dinobots, but Dinobot. Apparently, there was one just in Beast Wars. I don't know why he's just named Dinobot. Feels a little silly to me, but eh. Well,
Listen, he's so awesome, we don't care about the name.
But the other Dinobots transform into Volcanicus.
They didn't do that until, like, 2017.
Maybe so, but you know. Also, I saw a funny image. I'll probably send it to you later. Anyway, along that lines, we're always happy to do Transformers reactions for you guys. Just, well, give us more ideas on what you want us to watch. Because honestly, I do see them usually. It's just I usually, while I'm at work, and kind of have to forget about them and focus on work.
Yeah.
So if you guys so yeah, remind us in the comments which ones you want us to do. I really appreciate it. And I'll try to get to those ones as soon as I can.
I'd argue he's the prototype for Armada Starscream, done a bit better.
I don't know. Armada Starscream was done pretty well. He'll have to be very convincing.
Dinobot's entire arc is Armada Starscream's, but better. Yeah, no, betrayed the Predacons, tried to seize control of the Maximals, wound up just joining the Maximals flat out. Generally served as their fire support, very much as the kind who's willing to go to extreme solutions when needed. Thinks democracy is dumb. Ate his clone.
What?
Most of it.
I don't think Armada Starscream did that, but what do you mean ate his clone?
I mean, Megatron made a clone and Dinobot fucking ate it after he skinned it. You can see its skin hanging in its room in later episodes.
Wait, what?
This is not the only time Megatron would pull this shit.
Wait. Megatron made a clone of him and then he skinned the clone?
Yeah, the clone couldn't transform, but used it for a careful gambit to try and sneak it on board the Maximal ship and get several other Maximals in a position where they'd die. Until it was left to confront Dinobot, whose own sense of honor prevented him from engaging the clone in robot mode, which had the actual weapons.
Okay, that makes kind of sense. He does sound a little bit like Armada Starscream now.
Apparently lost, except not really, because actually the clone that came out to greet Megatron was just Dinobot.
What? How does that make sense?
He stayed in alt mode, pretended he was the clone, and then turned the base's defenses on him.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, had a very vitriolic relationship with Rat Trap, who's the kind of person who in another life would have been spouting anti-communist propaganda with every breath. God, I love Rat Trap. Better dead than Pred. Etc., etc. You know, Dinobot had a sword. Dinobot had guns. Dinobot had bandoliers.
There's a lot of weapons.
Dinobot kicked ass, and unlike everyone else, he didn't get the mid-season upgrade up to become a Transmetal.
Oh. Huh. Anyway.
Well, Dinobot had wavering loyalties. Dinobot was concerned about his place in the grand scheme of things and whether he truly had free will. Well, Dinobot made some mistakes. Dinobot fought to correct those mistakes.
Dinobot this. Dinobot... Oh. Oh, well then.
We love him.
Well, let's head into this.
Yeah. And the Netflix series just uses him in the worst way they could have.
Well then.
This week, we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Beast Wars and the release of the Kingdom cartoon on Netflix, with a look at one of the most popular characters from the series, the honor-bound Predacon turned Maximal, Dinobot.
Oh. The Predacon turned Maximal,
dinosaur Autobots from the original Transformers series.
Oh, he was named after them.
Dinobot debuted in the first year of the Beast Wars toyline in 1996.
Oh, that's the reason?
That's how they convinced marketing.
Oh. Huh. Interesting.
What, by pointing out, well, the Autobots had dinosaurs. Because otherwise, the Predacons were insects and reptiles.
Yeah.
was one of the heroic Maximals and transformed into a velociraptor, inspired more by the creatures from the movie Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I
than
can
by
see
the
that.
real-life dinosaurs.
Well, we know.
The teeth
Well, we
on
know
the-
nowadays that the real life ones were actually really small. Yeah,
Beast Wars were not to scale. I'm just gonna put that out there. Like
I'm not that surprised because
in universe, their alt modes were not to scale.
I've seen Rat Trap. I believe that. Yeah, it's probably Rat Trap considering he's a rat. Is yeah, he's big. He's not exactly the size of a rat. Anyway.
Tail of which converted into a sword and a spinning rotor weapon for Dinobot
And the
in
sword was
robot
supposed to be
mode.
his tailbone.
The profile
Oh.
on the toy's packaging described Dinobot as
I don't
a
really know how
natural
the spinning
combat
rotor
expert,
weapons help
always
in
hungry
combat.
for battle.
You
This
can hit someone with the
characterization
blade,
would be
use them as
greatly
flexion.
expanded on by the Beast Wars animated series, which presented Dinobot as a warrior
hover
bound
with
by
it.
a code of honor, both a vicious
Probably glide.
fighter who craved the glory of combat, and a noble, poetic soul prone to quoting Shakespeare.
Wait, really?
Dinobot was originally an evil Predacon, part of a team led by Megatron, who stole
Oh.
the maximal relic, the Golden Disc. The disc
Golden
was meant to
disc.
contain the location
Yeah.
of Earth,
The one
the
you shot in
energy
space
of which
with
the
Voyager.
Predacons sought.
Wait, then how is it their artifact?
This is so far in the future. They retrieved the damn probe.
Okay.
Also, G1 Megatron managed to get to it before it launched and left a message containing temporal coordinates of the war and the Ark.
Okay. So time travel shenanigans.
Basically, on the off chance the Decepticons lost, he left this for their descendants so that one day they could fix that.
Weren't they all offline when they landed in?
Yes, the timeline doesn't match up.
Okay.
The probe launched like a year before the Autobots and Decepticons woke up.
Well.
Plunder, but instead led the villains to a strange, primitive world. Declaring
Oh.
Megatron incompetent for leading them to the wrong planet,
This
Dinobot
is
attempted
not
to take
Earth.
command for himself, only to wind up being banished from the Predacon ranks for his rebellion.
Oh damn.
Dinobot quickly
got the
hunted
yeet.
down a group of Maximals who had followed the Predacons to the planet and challenged their leader, Optimus Primal, to combat for command
Okay.
of his troops. Primal was struck by Dinobot's honorable conduct, and when their battle was interrupted by the Predacons, he saved Dinobot's life and invited him to join the Maximals.
Oh, that's sweet.
Dinobot's knowledge of the Predacons proved helpful to the Maximals in the many battles they would go on to fight against Megatron's forces, but his superior attitude and eagerness
So he just
for
straight up
combat
joined.
also often caused conflict
Yep.
with his new teammates.
He also
in particular,
wholeheartedly
the
believed that maximal torture chambers were a thing.
Wait, what?
Yeah, apparently that's just something the Predacons are told. Yeah, the Maximals have torture chambers. He assumed he was in one when he woke up in the repair bay.
Huh. I don't think that's a thing. Yeah.
It is listed under in the does not exist category of TF Wiki.
I'm not surprised. They probably just Predacon propaganda or something.
Yes, other things listed. Scale.
What?
Scale does not exist in Transformers.
Oh. Yeah.
smart-mouthed Rat Trap didn't trust the former Predacon, and Dinobot likewise loathed the sarcastic little bot. But
Makes
over
sense.
time, their antagonistic relationship gradually evolved into a sort of mutual respect. Not that either of the two
Oh my
would
god,
ever
what the
admit
hell
it.
is this?
Dinobot's toy was discontinued in late 1997, which led to the character's departure from the cartoon in a dramatic story arc in the show's second season.
Alright.
It began with
still
Dinobot
considered some of the
discovering
best
that the
writing in the
Beast
franchise.
Warriors were on Earth after all, prehistoric Earth, having been led back in
Yeah, one of the
time
moons
by
blew
the
up.
Golden Disc.
Wait, what?
Realizing that the disc
there were two
contained
moons when they
information
landed.
about the future, Dinobot suffered an existential
One of them
crisis,
was a Death
fearing
Star.
that if the future was already written, he had no control over his own destiny.
I mean,
In the
yeah.
seminal episode, Code of Hero, His question was answered when he learned that the future could be changed, and that Megatron was planning to do just that by wiping out a tribe of cavemen in order to prevent the evolution of humankind. Though he now knew that he was free to choose his own destiny, there was only
He's just
one
wrecking them
honorable
right
choice
now.
Dinobot could make.
Well, there goes
Pushing himself to
Waspinator.
the limit, he took on the entire Predacon army single-handedly.
Holy
and
hell.
used the last of his strength to destroy
Yeah,
the
Code
Golden
of Heroes is
Disc,
a fucking
sacrificing
great
his life
episode.
to save humanity.
Wait, how did he die in this?
Ran out of energy, didn't go into stasis lock. Fucking kept pushing himself past the point he could be repaired.
So he used every little bit of power he had left to take down all of the Predacons just to save the rest of humanity, and then destroyed the disc. Wait, what was the point of destroying the disc exactly?
Megatron could use it to view images of the future.
Oh. Destroying the possibility of him seeing the future.
And preserve history.
While also spitefully asserting that his choices were his own.
That's a pretty good one.
The evil deeds, along with the good, and let me be judged accordingly. The rest is silence.
I need to go back a bit. What did he say exactly there?
Me,
We were kind of talking over a
the
bit.
good,
Along
and
with the
let me
good.
be judged accordingly.
Oh, he wanted to be sent out to a court and
The
be
rest
judged.
No.
is
He's
silence.
saying tell his story. Do not sugarcoat it.
Oh.
And let the people who hear it judge.
Huh.
In 1990,
I do. That's
Then they
all.
fucked up his funeral scene.
Why? What happened?
It was a very good scene. They put a lot of effort into it, and they used the wrong rat trap model.
Oh.
They used his season 1 model and not his trans metal model. And again, they said they looked over this time and time again to make sure it was always perfect, and they didn't realize until they sent it out.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time, honestly. Anyway. On that note, yeah, that was pretty good. And honestly, that's how stories technically should be written. Like, let the viewer judge your characters. Write with honesty and clarity. But then again, writing itself is a vulnerable occupation. You're letting your heart out to people and seeing what they think. But if you aren't willing to do that, maybe you shouldn't be a writer.
So,
You know.
remember how I mentioned Megatron cloned him that one time?
Oh, this is the thing.
1999, a new
This is a different
Dinobot
clone.
toy was released as
Oh,
part of the
a different
Transmetal
clone?
2 range, with
And there was a clone-
monstrous
set of clones between
biomechanical
this too.
raptor and robot modes.
How many clones did he make?
Well, he made the initial clone. He made a shit ton of Cyber Raptors, which I don't have a good head count on, like 3 or 4 of them. And then he made Dinobot 2.
Why did he make so many clones of this guy?
I think he made... Well, he had a minor obsession with his former lieutenant.
I didn't even know.
I'm going to level with you. I'm amazed there wasn't a Viacon Dinobot at this rate.
I just wanted to say, I didn't even know he was his lieutenant, but yeah.
Introduced into the cartoon in
That's-
its third
I will
season,
say I like that
this
toy, though.
Dinobot
It looks
was
kinda
a
cool.
clone of the original,
Yep.
with all the vicious killer instinct and none of the honor, created by Megatron and given
a
life
famous
by a
Lost
portion
episode
of the mutant
based on this
spark
guy.
of the Predacon Rampage.
Oh, he was
Previously,
given.
there were
Wait,
plans to
wait. He
give
was
this-
given a different one
was given-
spark.
Yeah, so... You know Rampage is immortal, right?
No, I don't know who Rampage is.
Okay, so he's the big crab guy. He's immortal. He's Hannibal Lecter, but depopulating entire colonies.
What?
He's the result of maximal scientists trying to recreate Starscream's spark.
Well, I can tell
When
that.
he woke up, he just... What?
I was about to say, I can tell that failed.
I mean, he is immortal.
Yes, but you also don't want a cannibal.
Yeah, Rampage's existence is suffering, and everyone else's existence around him is going to be suffering if he has anything to say about it. The difference is they're allowed to end. Yeah, no, so he first woke up, started killing everything. He was actually part of the Maximal secret mission the Maximal ship was on before they crashed, to dump his pod somewhere barren, somewhere far. Or chuck his ass into a black hole if they found one. Either or. Just make sure he couldn't make his way back to civilization. Yeah, no. So after Megatron found him, when they finally managed to beat him into the dirt, he carved half of his spark off with Energon, put it in a cage filled with Energon crystals that he would crush to torture Rampage into submission whenever he got too uppity.
What the fuck?
And, since he just had half a spark kicking around, he put it in Dinobot too.
So he put what was left in there. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Dinobot 2 could also just compress the spark with Energon crystals to torture Rampage.
Alright then.
Clone a spotlight episode titled Dark Glass, in
Yep,
which
famous lost
Rat-Trap
script.
would have implanted a copy of the original Dinobot's memories into the clone in an effort to bring his friend back to life.
Oh!
But sadly, it was never made.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, the
That
inherent
would've-
script exists.
That
That's all we know.
that
All
would have
attempts to
been
get it-
interesting.
Yeah.
Because he's
Well, that's-
not... Go ahead.
Well, that's just it. It happened in the timeline. There's a plot hole in the final episode that these events fill.
So
It's
it
just that planting the memories in him didn't do more than momentarily bring Dinobot back before 2 reasserted himself.
Damn. Straight up reassert, huh?
nobility of the original Dinobot still lived somewhere deep within the clone. And in
Oh.
the series finale, that noble spirit finally reawakened, as the clone remembered its honor, and once again, Dinobot turned on Megatron.
He
and
really
gave up
should
his
stop
life to
cloning
defeat
him.
the villain and bring the Beast Wars to an end. Dinobot was the
fairness,
standout fan
never
favorite
suffered so
character
well.
of Beast Wars, with Code of Hero often ranked as one of the single best episodes of Transformers television.
I can
and
Damn
in
tell.
2010, he would beat out many of the biggest names in Transformers history to become the first character voted by fans
remember that
into
time?
the Transformers.
He got voted into the Hall of Fame and beat out Grimlock, Soundwave, Shockwave.
And Jazz. I was about to hear about that, but then you... Alright.
Hall of Fame.
Waspinator won next year.
But despite
That's honestly surprising how much people liked him to... What is the Transformers Hall of Fame?
It used to be an event that they stopped where they'd vote. Just look at it, and like, so one of the more memorable parts was that time they got a rector on the ballot
Well then.
because they were always allowed. So they were always allowed a fan nomination.
Okay.
Oh wait, they've still been voting characters into the Hall of Fame these past few. I kind of stopped paying attention.
Oh, so they have been.
Yeah, it was a big thing in BotCon, but it's just not a thing as often. Let's see here. I think Soundwave just got grandfathered in the second year.
I'm not surprised a lot of people like Soundwave.
Yeah, fan nominations. First, Dinobot, then Waspinator, then Wheeljack, then Megatron Beast Wars.
Also surprised Optimus Prime isn't first and foremost, but you know.
Skybite made it in a couple years back. Megatronus made it in, which is... Okay. Michael Bay's also in there.
Why is Michael Bay in there?
He got nominated. Well, he got inducted as the human part the second year. Wait, he got in there before Frank Welker. What the fuck?
What?
But, yeah. Yeah, the fan nominations, they just kind of go. But yeah, no, Erector. So he's a Micromaster whose only claim to fame is that his name is fucking Erector. He got nominated. He got nominated despite having no fictional appearances because someone ran a really successful campaign. And so when they had to put together a Hall of Fame video, they just made up a bunch of fake concept art of the time he almost got in to a series.
Oh.
Just as a bit, and said, okay, this was fun. Never do this again, okay, guys?
Yeah, leading up to that, just to do it as a joke is kind of... Anyway.
this popularity, or maybe in a way because the character is so well loved, due to his story being told so completely by Beast Wars, Dinobot is the one member of the original Maximal cast who's been revisited the least by new Transformers series.
Probably.
In the 2 decades that followed the end of Beast Wars, the only appearances Dinobot would make in Transformers
He's a little raptor with a tie.
Legends is a comic I'd like a lot more if some of the jokes weren't really taking pot shots at trans people.
were brief ones in things like comics and mobile games. Probably his most notable showing was in IDW Publishing's comic books, which depicted the character as the leader of a tribe of reptilian Transformers on the Cybertronian colony planet Eucharis. He has had a few new toys over the years, though. Official convention BotCon offered the first in 2006, depicting him in his original Cybertronian vehicle mode, an excavator, from before the Maximals and Predacons came to Earth. A new figure inspired by his cartoon design was released in the Transformers Universe storyline in 2009. It was sold as a Predacon, complete with a new, more evil-looking color scheme, but featured swappable Predacon and Maximal symbols. When it was released in Japan as part of the Henkei line, it was given a more show-accurate paint job and came packaged.
Why is he about to beat the shit out of Hotshot?
Because Henkei makes no sense, and they just decided, yeah, this is G1 Hotshot. Fuck do you mean this is G1 Hotshot? This is G1 Hotshot.
There is no G1 Hotshot.
There is now. That's G1 Hotshot.
Oh my god.
Mini-comic in which Dinobot was found mysteriously buried on present-day Earth by the Autobots. And in 2018, a high-end collector targeted painstakingly recreated his cartoon design was released in
they worked really hard on it, and you can tell.
Toy line.
Yeah, terrifying.
But it wasn't until 2021, as part of the 25th anniversary celebration of Beast Wars, that Dinobot truly stepped into the spotlight again for the first time since the original series. A new toy of the character was released as part of the Transformers Kingdom toy line, again sold as a Predacon, heralding his return to TV screens in the accompanying Netflix animated series. The Kingdom cartoon told a very different version of the Beast Warrior's adventure on prehistoric Earth, one in which Dinobot never defected to the Maximals, despite his reservations about Megatron's plans to use the Golden Disc to alter history. It was only when the Autobots and Decepticons of the past arrived on Earth, searching for the lost Allspark, that the conflicted Dinobot was finally prompted to take a stand, fearing the changes that would be wrought upon the timeline if the powerful relic fell into evil hands. After an attempted alliance with fellow turncoats Black Arachnia and Starscream
is always a
faced
turncoat.
down both his Megatron and the original Decepticon Megatron in battle alone. Though fatally wounded, Dinobot was able to recover the Autobot matrix of leadership the Decepticon had stolen.
Chris is making me sound a lot better than it was.
Optimus Prime, so he could use it to locate the Allspark.
In reality,
it's more
accomplished. He finally works up the nerve to switch sides, and then the writer's like, cool, that's Dinobot's arc, guess we can kill him off now. They do this. They did this to Impactor. They're going to kill off everyone still on Cybertron while we were gone. The Netflix series sucks.
Well then, I can tell you harbor a lot of hate for it. Anyway.
Dinobot succumbed to his injuries, and his spirit then guided Optimus Primal to Prime's side, so the two could defeat Megatron and recover the Allspark together. 2021 also saw the release of a new Beast Wars comic from IDW,
animated,
which reimagined the story of the original cartoon to offer another new interpretation of Dinobot's tale. In this series, it was the dishonorable cruelty displayed by the other Predacons when they captured and tortured the Maximal pilot Nyx that convinced Dinobot he was on the wrong side. Turning on the Predacons, Dinobot helped Nyx escape and petitioned Optimus Primal to let him join the Maximals. Primal was a lot more cautious than in the cartoon, but Dinobot soon proved his good faith, enduring serious injuries as he helped the Maximals beat back a Predacon attack. The comic is still ongoing, so for now,
Oh, really?
those are
How
the
many years?
basics
3 years
of
ago.
Beast Wars Dinobot.
It
He
ended
lived
at
a
issue
warrior,
12.
died a hero,
Damn.
and now lives again for
Because
the
IDW
honor
lost the
of a
license.
new
Of
generation
course they did.
of Transformers fans.
Shame, because
And the rest.
the comic really did try to zig where Beast Wars zagged, and I was interested to see what they'd do. Ooh, the Vok being a lot more openly antagonistic towards Cybertronians, the Protoforms themselves forming a sort of third faction, Black Arachnia seizing control of the Predacons after Megatron was dealt with.
Huh.
Venusaur just being flat out neck snap murdered and turned into a zombie.
What?
Yeah,
Well then.
don't leave a corpse around tarantulas.
Don't leave anything around Tarantulas as far as I've heard. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you all.
You leave him alive. You leave a live bomb in his lap, and it's just going to walk back to you with the legs he grafted on.
That sounds horrifying. Anyway, thank you all so much, and we'll see you later. If you like what we're doing here, you know, like, comment, subscribe to help, and head over to the Patreon if you want to see us reacting to stuff. Full episodes of stuff. All kinds of stuff. You'll get so much content you won't know what to do with. Anyway.
I'm still not sure how to feel about the fact that you haven't seen Beast Wars.
Oh my god. Maybe we'll watch, if the people over on the Patreon want us to watch Beast Wars, we'll, I don't know, watch 1 episode a week. Does that make you feel better?
A little.
Thank you all so much, and I'll see you later. I will say it's a little jarring for me because early's CGI was not that great. Or 3D models, you know what I mean. Anyway, thank you all so much, and I'll see you later.